Hey you, so on this video why I do and do not buy these coins and even practices as we'll get into. I'm going to be going over a range of questions I've had. I mean, easily a week can go by where I'll get a question on one of the things I'm going to be bringing up. So I'm going to hopefully, I know some people have their own reasons for why they don't watch a lot of the back catalogue, but hopefully in this one video I'll get all of them out, and it's going to be a range of questions. You know, I've had many questions even regarding the old grading, coin sets, mints, and just coins, and even ways and approach that I take, why I do or do not do them. And I'm going to give some answers for that in this video here. So straight away, before we take off, I'd love to say, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe. And also I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments, whether aligned with mine or totally opposite to mine, as to what you think on what I'm going to be mentioning. I'm going to be bringing up quite a few, so this may go on for a little while. So when we break straight into this, I'm going to jump straight into this and speak on, it's going to be first off a coin series I'm constantly asked about, and why I didn't get into them. And funnily enough, it's going to be my channel banner. So I believe on my channel banner, the Shadow Stack banner, I have a Somali elephant anniversary coin. I believe it was the very first video I ever done on my channel. So I've been asked why I don't collect the Somali elephants or show them off, or what do I think of them. So everything I'm going to be mentioning in this video, I think I've done it either a small portion in previous videos, but as I've mentioned, I'm going to round them all up into this video. So the Somali elephants, I don't have none on show here. The only Somali elephants I believe I have now are the platinum ones. I believe, yeah, the platinum ones that I have, but you know, we've all seen the Somali elephants before, we know what they look like. But I've been asked why I don't collect the Somali elephants and what I think of them. Now, as you can see from my channel banner, I think they're very beautiful. I love the coins and I love elephants. It's just that mint in general, I don't know the name of the mint, I think went awry somewhere. They went awry and they just messed it up. There's a number of things. Now, of course, there's going to be many out there that stack them or have them and totally oppose what I'm saying. It's just from my own personal experience with these coins here, you know. So love to hear if you've got them, how well they've done. And I do know the earlier years do well, but my experience with them is, one, the quality control on the silver were very poor. They was suffering from milk spots in a major way. They was up there with the Royal Canadian Mint. So that was first off. And this is even with the gold. Some of their gold coins did come with a couple of issues. I think I might have one of the half grammers here. I've got some gold down below. Let's see if we can get this out to display here. I've not got the gloves on today, so focusing is going to be an issue. So see if we can get that up and show. Yeah, so these are the boys we're talking about here, the Somali elephants. I've got a small one to put on display here. But yeah, as I was mentioning, the silver did have some quality control issues. That's no big secret. But also, I think they were one of the first mints that got very fruity when it came to mintages and just throwing way too much at the wall, hoping for something to stick. If I'm not mistaken, I think they was one of the first, and this is when stacking was fun. You know, it had a massive following pre-cryptos, and they, I believe, brought out a gold coin, an ounce coin with like a mintage of 10. Now, to me, that's way too, you know, counterproductive. I understand at the time, before people even knew about it, it was sold out, but then those that purchased it couldn't resell. Once again, because the mintage was so small. So they came out early, a mint that started going wild with their privy editions, you know, their special coin show editions. And even today, you can still find them as the ANA or whatever it is. They're always doing some type of special edition. They'll have the same coin on a privy or silver or gold and limited mintage of 100. And these were tactics that I'm very wary of now. If a new mint comes into the scene, Germanium Mint, and starts these type of things. So they was doing this way before a lot of the other mints started to tag along and copy. Now, I'm going to be mentioning them and a few others, and by no way am I knocking them for this. You know, as a business or a company, you're pumping out product and it's selling. That's the whole aim of the game. I mean, their model, I'm sure, isn't to come into the game, release, I don't know, 1,000 coins and leave it at that. It's just that for someone like myself, a cowboy collector / stacker, I want more and less, both at the same time. So I want more in terms of, you know, strict quality control, strict limitation on mintage, and then, you know, I want a lot less of the pumping and the privy pimping. They went wild, and with all of those combined, it's why I ended up not really tagging along with them and stopped. I've had a few coins in the past. I believe I had the antique kilo coin, the puzzle kilo coins. Absolutely loved those, but I got an offer I couldn't refuse, and being who I am, it had to go. I think I've had a few more. I had a few of the silver 4-coin sets, but they was in real briefly. I flipped those real fast to a friend. So what I ended up doing though is once I quit on them, and this was early in the game, I jumped on board instead with the Rwandan boys with their wildlife series. So there's a few of the coins we've got here, and I think with them I've been a lot more happy with my money staying here, even in silver, because once again we didn't get the ridiculous privy pimping and the likes of. Yes, I believe a lot of their earlier coins, they did end up increasing the mintage, so it left people a little sour. At one point there was 5k, I believe, but you know, it is what it is. The series is still going on strong. The coin displayed here now, the Gorilla, still going for insane premiums, but you know, I haven't really caught up with them, but I am up to date with the African wildlife series. These are from the same guys that do the lunar series and the nautical series. So from leaving the Somalia wildlife coins, or the elephant coins, just because the mint was a bit too aggressive with overproducing, I jumped on board with these guys here. You know, you get that same little wild flavor, but with a lot stricter mintage and just not as much aggressive privy pimping, gold and all types of variants. And you know, even these half gram coins was pushing it a bit. You know, they done it, it worked, and they just started getting a little crazy, but they do sell well. You know, it's the most popular elephant running coin series, but for me, quality plus all the other stuff I mentioned there, it wasn't the one for me. So hopefully I've touched upon that, and it'll be stuck in archive so I can forward this video on to anybody that has a question here on that anymore. So next I'm going to get to another question I've received, and it was why I don't have no gold Krugerrands in my stack. Now with that is something that I will most definitely be working upon adding to my stack, and that specifically as well. And I'll bunch these together, easily say the gold Krugerrands, gold maples, and even a splash of some gold American Eagles. Now I don't currently have them at the moment because I was focusing on a lot more of my UK gold premium sets, high premium sets. Someone recently mentioned that, you know, I had a lot of high premium gold coins in my video, but as you can see from previous videos, I've had gold tubes and tubes of gold Britannias and gold sovereigns, normal standard sovereigns. And I mentioned at the time that I was selling those to get into coins that I believe would appreciate over time and be a lot harder to collect and find, but also work fantastic for me for where I am located, and that's in the UK. So that's what I've done. There's a lot of coins I show on my videos as well, in previous videos, that they may just get that one appearance and then they're either traded or sold on. I don't do massive selling, but it's all in-house. But you know, that's stuff definitely something that did go out, and the gold proof coin sets came back in. Now I have no doubt it'll be extremely easy for me to replace the Britannia gold tubes that I had, and even the sovereigns. But whereas getting the, I don't know, the 2012 5-coin set sovereign set, the 2017 5-coin sovereign set, the 2002, 2005, is they're available, but not at the price I got them for, and that's why I traded those out. But I will be increasing my pure bullion weight back up, but I still do have a lot of pure bullion weight in terms of, you know, not so much Britannias. I still have a load of the Queen's Beast Lions and the 5-ounce kangaroos and the likes of, so I still do have a lot of weight. But getting back onto the Krugerrand question, once I'm set, or even when another windfall of cryptos comes back in or something, I will be loading up. I do intend to load up for my permanent stack in terms of gold, on gold Krugerrands and gold American Eagles and gold maples. So I'd easily push the maples and the Krugerrands first, because I think they're fantastic. They're best universal coins, and you could easily put them at the top of the Christmas tree because they're accepted worldwide, they're known worldwide, and they're extremely liquid worldwide. And you know, many put gold ahead of silver, so I definitely want them in. When I get those in, they won't be getting traded out or sold anytime soon. So it's definitely something I will be adding to the stack. So for the person that inquired about why I don't have none of those, it's just purely because other things were on the plate at the time or on the menu that I needed to get. And they most definitely will be getting added to the stack. So the next question coming up, shout out to Goldfather. If you haven't watched his most recent video on the Scottsdale Mint, please do, as I'm about to get onto a question from them. So a lot of the times, I've done videos on this a few times, I'm always asked about Scottsdale's Mint coins and what I think about them. Now, I've always mentioned, I will always say again, I do not want to knock them at all. I've always said, I think for private mint, I think they are one of the best. They have some fantastic designs out there. I love their approach to the game. You know, I'm always asked why I ain't stacking this Scottsdale Mint coin or what I think about that Scottsdale Mint coin. And I've always left out the best. I love them. I think the designs are fantastic, but I personally haven't seen a fantastic track record of them on the secondary market, even if it's a leopard error coin, supposedly said. To me, they've never really done that well on the secondary market. And that's just my own personal thoughts and opinions there. This is why I personally don't stack them. I count all Scottsdale Mint coins. I've even done them on my, you know, hot or not, good, bad, ugly videos. But whether they're doing some type of, you know, UK arms emblems or a trident or a flamingo or a sea bass or whatever it is, I round them up all under the same. You know, I think they're great coins if you're just picking up pure weight and you can get it for as close a spot as possible is what I recommend. Then they're not such bad coins. But once again, check out Goldfather's video, as he seems to have had a problem liquidating a load of them. And many people have asked me in the past, and it's just for that reason. I've always seen them as good as stocking fillers. If they can be picked up for as close a spot as possible. But then, as you can see, sometimes even liquidating them may not be the issue. Even you're talking gold, then, you know, that could be an issue. But I don't want to sound too negative on them because I do like their model and approach. They're not, you know, overstating certain things like some mints or dealers are. They may cap at 100 and put the mintage at 5k, and it is what it is. So I like what they're doing. But personally, for me, Scottsdale as a whole is, I don't own none whatsoever. Purely because if I want to flip it, I want to know I can get the most bang for my buck or it can appreciate. And from what I've seen to date, a lot, or damn near all of their products haven't done that. So it is what it is. But if it's been absolutely different for you, please do let me know in the comments how well that's done for yourself. So getting on to the next, you know, do's and don'ts, it would be generic weight. Another thing I've answered in the past, but I've been getting a lot of questions recently. In Europe, I'll get onto this quickly as possible. Generic weight is not the best approach, and it's not even an option, a large option, I'd say. Whereas in America, it's a massive option, even from the coin dealers that you have out there. And so that already gives you a large buying pool, and then also the audience, so a large selling pool. It's not to forget silver, where we're mainly focusing on here. You have a larger audience to buy and sell to, so, and you pay much smaller premiums. Whereas in Europe, even in the UK, I can't even think of a few. Of course, there's generic coins here and there, but it's nowhere near as big a market as is in America. And that's what led to me personally, and a lot of UK stackers and even European stackers you'll see that mainly stack government as their main foundation. If they do go generic, it's normally old money. So it'd be some form of a junk coin, for instance, previous or so old money that contains a small portion of gold or silver. That's what I've personally seen. There isn't a lot of, I don't know, no European stacker that purely stacks hard, aggressive, generic silver as close a spot as possible. Yes, you can pick it up. There's a few handful of mints. Some dealers may have them in, but it's most definitely not a massive market. Just speaking on from my previous experience, I have well over 10,000 plus ounces. I've sold easily in excess of 4,000 ounces. And that's been ranging from the top to the bottom. So I've sold 10 kgs of everything you've seen on my channel that I've showed you, told you that I've bought and sold. I've bought and sold. And, you know, from the 10 kgs to the 1 grams and the likes of. And the combined experience I've built up and got from that is I have a somewhat of a good understanding of what works for myself. Maybe what I may be recommending could be the best approach. And one thing I haven't sold is poured silver, so that I wouldn't know where to speak on that. But I would tell you now, if generic's bad in Europe, I would love to hear, you know, anybody that does do that. But there most definitely isn't a place or a dealer or even an eBay or an avenue where I can see generic working well. You know, I've found out through gaining all that experience what works best in terms of European dealers, UK dealers, and even offloading to friends or forums or, you know, friends of friends. And generics never came into the equation. Sometimes it can be as gimmicky as it is a Back to the Future car works a lot better, or a Perth Mint Dragon or a Tiger. Something themed works a lot better for the average newcomer than a generic piece, but who knows. But this is why I specifically don't really stack generic weight. It's not a big option in Europe. It's much larger in America, as you have a lot more people to sell to and a lot more people to buy from. So that is why I don't really get into that. So hopefully that's been touched upon also. So now getting on to the next one of do and don't buy is going to be the koala coins. Now, Perth Mint Koala coins, great series, you know. I know, once again, it's going to be another series where I believe a lot of the earlier coins will hold a bit more of a premium. But for me, the koala coins were coins where it was the best of the worst that Perth had to offer, even to date, I would say. And saying that, I mean, the kooks and the lunas were what you wanted to be involved in, whether it was for appreciation or just popularity. Not saying the koala's done bad, but they was easily, even with the ruse that I'm showing here, they was on this level. They was more silent, more low-key. People got into them because it could have been that coin that at a later date could have been that sleeper. Personal thoughts and opinions here, guys. For me, I turned them down and was never really interested because I never saw big things with them. When we was talking Perth, it was always, for me, the Kooks or the Luna series and a lot more of the newer stuff that's came out. The koalas were just that low-key series. I believe they've also muddled around with their mintages and the likes of, but I don't have any. Whereas after the koalas, I'd easily put the kangaroos. I'm not sure if these are Australian mint or Perth mint, but nevertheless, it's another series where it was a pity purchase. So what you see here is what I own. I've not expanded upon it. I just purchased it at the time, and that's been that from there. It's just been left at that. It's not been something I've actively been collecting. I don't know what they're doing in terms of appreciation or even which ones are the most expensive here. But as you can see, I've left them as is. They came in the suitcase, and you know, there's a bit of toning and the likes of, but that just is what it is. But the koalas were never for me because the others were more popular, and I didn't really see them appreciating. They come across to me now mainly more like a good weight option. If you can pick them up as close a spot as possible. I know they Perth do the kangaroos now that don't change the design. I'd easily put them in the same league. So, you know, they could have been picked up at closer spot. It would have been better. Perth have put the same marketing into them as they have with all the other coins, but they just haven't taken off as well as the other coins did. I'd say they're all level now, damn near the kooks and the likes of, but you know, it is what it is when we're talking the Perth Mint Koala coins. So next, we will get on to these ones, the Chinese pandas. You know, I think when we're talking pandas, it's a hate them or love them. From what I see, the general mindset is, as they're coming from China, you have that the bumping heads approach, depending on how you view the whole world in general. And then next would be the, you know, counterfeit central. But for me, Chinese pandas were never something I chose to get into because it was just like one mountain too high to climb. And once again, looking at everything you have here, I've done videos on these in the past, is everything I have when we're talking Chinese pandas, another pity purchase of. So, you know, the person that owned these before had found a few fakes, and that was that, and I just took the rest of their hands. So, you know, that's all there is to it. But it was, once again, nothing I've expanded upon. It's just, they're here. I'm happy I own them. You know, these ain't fake. They've been tested with the verifier. And that's that, really. But I think when it comes to pandas, what turned me off personally, I don't really follow the crowd mindset, depending on what your mindset is. It's just, they once again had a very large mintage, and it was just a bit too much. You needed to know a lot more when it came to the coins to watch out for fakes. So some people are into that. I just don't have the time for that, you know, to be getting the loop out every time, and you know, the small date, the big date. It's been extremely profitable for those that have been involved. So I would most definitely say they don't fall under the category of being a waste of space and time. It was just, you know, a bit too much for me to take on board at the time. I was mainly focusing on what was hot there and then, and flipping it, and it was working, you know. But pandas for me, although they are rife with fakes and you really need to know your stuff, they're nice. I don't exactly overlove them. I don't think they're ugly coins, but it's just a series that I just stayed away from. You know, everything you see here is a pity purchase and everything that I'm going to own, but I don't stack pandas. From what I saw from a lot more of the modern stuff, if we was talking coin sets or the bimetal ones, again, overpriced for me. Overpriced, and there was no chance of getting your money back in the long run. So it was just something that just wasn't for me. I know we had the Chinese Panda medals that was taken off. That was the craze at one point. And once again, just fell under the same category for me. It just wasn't for me. So when we're talking pandas, again, this is something that I'm not really into. So getting on to now a few more as I wrap this up. We will say, what are we looking at now? A lot of the newer collection coins. I'd say the coins that have been out at the time of release of the video in the past 12 months. I've done a video on this as very recent. It just not for me, you know, when we're looking at some coins. As I mentioned in the video, what did I mention in the video? Just stacking as a general isn't paying off as well as it was then. And I have a lot more of a back catalogue. We're talking older coins that I can do a lot better things and appreciate a lot better. And so moving forward, I know picking up a lot of the new coins, pick one, the ostriches or whatever it may be from the Perth Mint time of release. I have a very large backlog of coins that I think can perform better than the new ones. Not knocking the new ones, because if you're involved, you're involved. You know, you're either in or you're out. And then also touching upon the older coins, some of the stuff. Shout out to Dave and New Stacker. When we're talking the old money, so, you know, a lot of people may mention this isn't, you know, collector coins, this is modern junk. This Stone Age coin, here's the coin. Why am I into those? Grandad, ancient sovereigns and the likes of it. That's technically what I'd say with the pandas here. It's just a whole new learning curve I'm not willing to take on board. And it can be profitable, but from what I've seen, just from people close to me, it's not that much different when it does work out. Then getting something modern and throwing the dice from there. So, you know, if the money was there, and I know it is on a lot of the older stuff, but you need to know your wares, picking up what to look out for. You know, I understand the coins cleaned and, you know, the fakes. It's just a whole new world to take on board that personally I'm not willing to get on board with. And I'm more than comfortable with that. But I've seen it has worked out. You know, these are types of coins that are originally meant for grading before I get on to the next question. And it's just not for me. You know, I'd stick to what I know and go no further than 100 plus years, 100 years back, and I'm content from there on the more modern junk, as some may refer to. So, you know, shout out to Dave and New Stacker once again. Then I've also been asked about slabbing and why I haven't done either a follow-up and, you know, did my last experience absolutely flop because I haven't been back since. And I will say no. What happened with slabbing is that, as we saw at one point, once again, slabbing was the rage at one point. Big shout out to IKEA and, you know, New Stacker once again, that their channels mainly consisted of slabbing, especially New Stacker. You know, slabbing was the rage, and it still is. But at one point, you know, you could slab a coin and damn near triple, quadruple your money, and I did on certain coins. But as the market simmered down, I would say slabbing coins also has, you know, you're putting that extra premium into certain coins, and when you're barely getting your money back that you put in from grading, it became not an option for myself. Also, when I picked up a lot of the Royal Mint coins at the beginning of the year, I found that getting them in as fast as possible and selling them as fast as possible brought in better returns than getting them in, getting them graded, and then trying to achieve maximum price. So that was becoming a thing. Yes, graded coins sold and done better in the US, but as it became more popular in the UK, it was an option. But a lot of the coins, some of the ones you're seeing right here that I slabbed, worked out the best in the long run. Fantastic returns. And I left that at that. It's not that they're done bad. Every coin I'm showing you here, I've had an offer to purchase, and still do get offers for if I'm selling or not. I chose to hold on to these. I may let them go. I've had offers to sell these, but, you know, it just is what it is. But I have a few coins I still do want to get slabbed. So, you know, some of the coins I was just mentioning that I appreciate over time, i.e. the proof sovereigns and the likes of, that I think will do better off slabbed. Even the one I'm holding now that's just refusing to sink in, that I think will do fantastic slabbed in the long run. So it's just not something I've given up on. But, you know, getting a hot coin in, once again, I'm not picking up a lot of coins at the moment, getting it slabbed and then trying to really even double or quadruple, you know, octuple what I would have made already is just currently not an option for me in such a simmering market. So I've held back on it, but I still do see the benefits. Once again, on the older coins, I think it's a much better play. But hopefully this answers a lot of the questions that I've been getting as of recent, and just putting some out there for anybody else to answer, and your thoughts and opinions on slabbing, grading, pandas, koalas, you know, older coins, Scottsdale Mint, elephants, and anything that I brought up and put an answer to. I would love to hear anything you have to say regarding that. So, you know, and again on the Scottsdale Mint, I know that Goldfather's he's in a unique position in that there were certain avenues he wasn't willing to take. So, you know, it's only once you take every option can you really slam them. You know, I know he didn't want to mail the coins out, so he could have tried and saw, but just go ahead and watch the video, and, you know, shout out to him once again, guys. If you haven't done so already, it'd be fantastic if you go ahead and subscribe. So hate or love it, guys. Let me know what you think of this video, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound.